Lego Harry Potter is a theme that gets a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to Lego investing. Buying Lego sets and holding them while the value goes up. Is it a good theme? Is Lego Harry Potter worth investing in? Do the sets grow in value over time? Now, in the Lego investing community, I hear people saying that it's not the best theme for investing, and then I hear other people who swear by Lego Harry Potter and they do great with it. But the interesting thing about Lego Harry Potter, and with all Lego themes really, is that sometimes we should look a little deeper than just the big theme, and we should look at sub-themes within that theme. So within the world of Star Wars, we have the Star Wars helmets, we have the ships and the UCS sets. Within the Lego Harry Potter theme, we also have some sub-themes and series of certain products that are similar to each other. For example, the Hogwarts Moments Harry Potter sets that retired at the end of 2022, and the previous ones that retired at the end of 2021. Now, although some of those sets are only recently retired, they just retired a couple of months ago, some of them are starting to really take off in value. I want to have a look at this in more detail. I want to have a look at these Hogwarts Moments sets, see what they're doing in the aftermarket. Are they growing in value? Are they performing well in the early stages of their retirement? There's also other Lego Harry Potter sets that are similar that are still around today, and if we like the look of these sets, we might consider them as an investment for the future. So without any more delay, let's jump in and talk about some of these Lego Harry Potter Moments sets. Are they growing in value? What's happening on Amazon in the US? The first one we're looking at here is Herbology. This one is currently selling for $87 right here on Amazon in the US, as we can see. Now, when it was in retail stores, the MSRP of this set was $30, but you could get it for at least 20% off a lot of the time. So a lot of people would have been buying this for $24 or a little bit lower. So you could have got this for $24, and now we're around 15 or 16 months after the set retired, and it's currently selling for $87. So again, if you bought this for $24 and now you're selling it for $87, 15 months later, that's not bad. That's a phenomenal investment result, right? So this one has actually been doing pretty well. Now, the reason this set is doing so well is because it was undersupplied. So toward the end of the shelf life of this set, it did start to dwindle. The supply started to run out in different stores, and it became kind of harder to find. So if we scroll down and have a look at the Keep It chart here, now Keep It is a tool that I can use to look at the price history. You can also check out camelcamelcamel.com, which is a free version of this. It can show us what has happened with the price over time on this set. So we can see in 2022, it started out at around $50 here in the kind of lowest new price on Amazon that was available. And then throughout the year, it started really shooting up here till we got to $92 at one point in August 2022. It has come back down again as the supply throughout Q4 started to tick up a little bit, but now it's back up there at the $80 mark. Now, if I bring in the buy box, and for anyone who's not aware, the buy box is whenever we have this big add to cart button up here on Amazon, there is a price right there that's $87, and we can see the seller. This is sold by this seller right here. That seller is currently on the buy box. We call this big box right here the buy box. Now, that doesn't always exist, and you'll probably see one of the next sets that we're going to look at doesn't have a buy box right now because sometimes Amazon removes it and then they add it back and it kind of rotates. Right now we see a buy box price of $87, and we didn't see the new price here at $87 because I actually don't have the buy box in this chart. So if I add it in right here, I can click this buy box and I can see the pink line has now been added, and that shows us the actual buy box price. The reason that's interesting is because, to be honest, the buy box price is the real market price because more of the sales go to the buy box than the other sellers. And most buyers on Amazon, when they see that $87 price, they're just going to buy it. They're not going to go and click in to the other seller options by clicking this button right here to see who else has the set for sale. Instead, a lot of buyers actually don't even know that this exists, and more often than not, they're just going to click add to cart and go ahead and buy it. That's why the buy box is so powerful as an Amazon seller, because sometimes it's actually, you can get a premium. You can sell for a little bit more on the buy box because so many of the sales go straight there. So at the buy box level, we can see that this set is selling for $87 from a $24 purchase price for a lot of people. You could have got it even lower if you use credit card points and Rakuten cashback and different things like that. Now, the thing to note about these Hogwarts Moments sets is that the first one here, Herbology, actually retired a year earlier than all of the others. This one retired at the end of 2021 and the others retired at the end of 2022. The Charms class set was supposed to retire at the end of 2021, but it lingered into 2022. It did have kind of restricted supply throughout the year and different things, but officially the retirement date didn't actually happen until the end of 2022 on the Charms class. But Herbology officially retired at the end of 2021, and it was the only one out of all of these sets that retired a year sooner. Let's have a quick look at some of the others here. So next up we have Charms class. This is 76385, and this one is also a pretty strong performer right now. As I mentioned, this retired at the end of 2022, but the stock really dried up very early on, and I do think that they stopped manufacturing this set earlier on. This set couldn't really be found in retail stores for a long time throughout 2022, and as a result we do see the price ticking up very quickly. Right now the buy box on Amazon is $61, and again this was also an MSRP of $30 when it was available in the shelves, but you could have got it for a lot lower than that. You could have got it at least at $24, but most people probably bought it even lower than that again. So let's have a quick look at the price action on this one. So if we scroll down and zoom out so we can see the history of this set, when we see this kind of orangey color here, that is the Amazon price. So we see Amazon were in stock at $24, and they went out of stock toward the end of 2021. So again, this is where we see the stock really started to dry up. It's almost like this one did retire at the same time as Herbology. It jumped in price immediately up to around $40. If I bring in the buy box here, we might see something slightly different. In the beginning of the set drying up on Amazon, we see that it jumped to around $40 into the start of 2022, and then it went up a little higher. The buy box was at $47 there for a while. Then the buy box kind of stayed pretty standard while the new condition price dropped a little bit, but then throughout Q4 we had a nice rise up in that price again because the demand jumped so high in Q4. So we have this buy box price suddenly shooting up to $60 throughout December, and coming into January then it was around $65 in new condition, and it has stayed there until very recently. In the last couple of weeks it's dropped a little bit down to $61. Now that will pick back up again because the sales are still strong on this set, and so the lowest price sellers there right now will sell out and the price will continue to go up. And this one, it's looking pretty strong, really good for Charms class, and again the low supply really helped that value go up pretty quickly. Now the next four that we look at retired at the end of 2022, and you could readily buy them even at massive discounts in November and December of 2022. So we're not going to see the same performance on these sets because it is very early for them. It's just a couple of months into the retirement right now. But what are we seeing here on some of the others? So we have Potions class. This is 76383, and if we scroll down and look at the value or the chart on this one, the buy box is somewhere around $38. So it has been kind of around that point for the last month or so. After the set retired, it was $30 MSRP, but you could buy it on Amazon for $24 at certain points, for $30 at certain points, and then right before retirement Amazon dropped the price down to $21. So you could have bought this for $21 just a couple of months ago. Immediately after retirement, the price jumped up to somewhere in the region of $40 after Amazon went out of stock. So, but then it actually was bouncing between $30 and $40, somewhere in that region. It has been there ever since, and it's kind of, the buy box is still up at that point. You know, there's a lot of room for this one to keep going up, and as we saw with the first two here, Charms and Herbology, there is room for these sets to grow. But I do need to call out that these massive discounts of these sets right before retirement, so we see Amazon dropping the price to $21, that kind of tells us that there was probably a lot of supply out there at that time. Now they did run out of stock, and throughout December Amazon didn't really have stock, which is a good thing, right? For investors, we want to see supply dry up quickly, and if supply lingers months after retirement, it tells us that there was a lot of manufacturing. And the fact that this dried up quickly, it's a good sign, but the fact that they dropped the price heavily is the opposite, right? So these things are kind of counterbalancing each other. And the fact that these sold out so fast, you know, a lot of it is because they dropped the price. And so we had a really good deal on some amazing sets that were already in high demand throughout November, which is when everybody wants to buy Lego. And so as a result, the sets sold out pretty quickly. So looking pretty good so far on Potions class, and I think it has more room to grow. Now, next up we have, this is Transfiguration, and we'll be quick with these because a lot of them are kind of at similar price points, but Transfiguration is actually a little lower here. So we do see a kind of a disparity between the market price and the buy box here. If I zoom in a little bit, we can see that on Amazon it was selling for $24 before retirement. This one dropped down to $20, so they significantly discounted this set. It was discounted down to $20. And in retirement, in the last couple of months, it has been somewhere around $34, $35. So we can see this pink line here, that's the buy box on Amazon, jumping up and down a little bit, and recently it's been at around $34. This is a little lower than potions, but you could have bought it for 20, so you could have got a really good deal on this set, and now it's selling for around 35. And once again, I do think that this one will continue to go up as well. Next up, we have Divination class. This is 76396. We actually don't see much of a buy box for the last while, so this is an example here, like I was saying, where you don't see any seller on the buy box. You can see that there's no seller here, there's no add to cart button, there's no price, so that tells us that the buy box right now is suppressed, and if anyone wanted to buy this set, they would actually have to click this see all buying options button, and that would show them what options they have to buy it. So looking at the price on this one, we do see a little bounce here as soon as it retires. Now, this one was not discounted as heavily as the other two that we just looked at. It's a $30 MSRP, but while the others were discounted down to $21 and $20, this one was actually steady at $27 on Amazon. Now again, that tells us that there was less supply of this set than there were of the other two, and that can be useful information for LEGO investors. And despite the fact that the price on this one was $7 more than the last set that we just looked at, this set still sold out in mid-November. So even though it wasn't massively dropped in price, it still had a ton of demand and it still sold out. After it sold out, we do see the price jumping up, and throughout the last couple of months, it's been steady at around $38, $39. So this is actually selling at one of the higher prices out of the ones that just retired at the end of 2022, but you probably got a better price on the other two, so your return on investment on those is probably stronger than this one right now. If they reinstate the buy box on this on Amazon, I do expect that the sales will pick up a little bit, and what will happen then is sellers will sell out faster and the price will start to grow quicker. Either way, this one, it's enjoying a little bit of early price growth, but again, we couldn't get as good of a deal on this one, and so your return on investment is probably a little lower. That's it for Divination class, and then we'll look at the defense class. So this is 76397, and does this one have a buy box right now? This also does not have a buy box. There is no price and no add to cart button on defense class. Scrolling down and looking at the chart, we can see in the last couple of months since retirement, it was selling at $30. The price on this one was discounted down to $18, but it was super temporary. So we can actually see right here, if we zoom in, this discount down to $18, it is the lowest price out of all of the sets that were discounted, but it was super temporary because it sold out almost immediately in mid-November. And so we can see that was very short-lived. The set then sold out. It popped back in stock a couple of times on Amazon. The price jumped up to around $33. If I bring in the buy box, we do see this pink line that exists kind of every so often. It's just not always there, and the market price was somewhere around 30, 35. It actually got up to, in Q4 at the end of December, the market price was at $44. It dropped a little bit after that, but then recently the buy box was up at $43, which is, again, that's a little bit higher than the others that we just looked at, so that's actually pretty good. But right now there is no buy box, and so the price has dropped back a little bit. We are looking at a market price of around $40 right now, so defense class is doing pretty well overall. And if you were one of those who got this for $18, then you are looking at a pretty strong return on investment very, very early on in retirement. So the Hogwarts moment sets overall have enjoyed some good early growth in general. We do see some really strong performers like Herbology and Charms, and we do see some early indicators of good performance from some of the other sets. And I think these sets really flew under radar in general for LEGO investors, and a lot of people didn't really get involved with these sets. And so those of you who did are probably pretty happy now with your decisions. Now on the shelves in 2023, we have some similar sets out there. So the Hogwarts moment sets are gone, they've all retired, but now we have these house banner sets, and these sets are taking the same concepts of the kind of books that can be opened up to show a scene, but now they are the 4 houses of Hogwarts instead of the classrooms that we saw before. Now the interesting thing is that these only were released at the start of 2023, and they are all retiring at the end of 2023, at least with the most recent information. That could change, of course. That would give them a shelf life of just about a year, similar to a lot of those Hogwarts moment sets that we saw. Now these sets have a higher MSRP, so the Hogwarts Moments set, our MSRPs were around $30. These are $35, so there's a little bit of a difference there. And I also want to call out that the collectability factor here, although it's super strong because people are going to want to buy all 4 of the houses, in the future it may be reduced a little bit because there are only 4 Hogwarts houses, and so we can't have any more released in 2024. So when these retire at the end of 2023, then it becomes a little less likely that in 2024 Harry Potter fans are going to see some new released Lego sets that's going to drive them back to buy these sets because they want to collect the new stuff and the old stuff. That's less likely to happen now because, again, we've got all 4 of the houses already released right now, so next year there probably won't be any more of them. But regardless, I do think that these have a real nice collectability factor. People are going to want to buy all of them. They go nicely with those old Hogwarts Moment sets, so if people are collecting the Hogwarts Moment sets, then they're going to want to add these to their collection, and the short shelf life means that maybe they're not going to have enough time to collect them all, so then there will be sustained demand in the afterlife. Will that mean that they will be good investments? That remains to be seen. So I personally am going to look a little closer at some of these sets. So we have Ravenclaw, we have Hufflepuff, we have Slytherin, and we have Gryffindor all currently available, and I will be watching for good deals on these sets. Now, I'm not going to go and buy them at full MSRP, especially since this MSRP is higher than the past sets, but I will be on the lookout for great deals on these sets. I'm going to look a little closer at the supply levels and the demand and different things like that. And if you want to learn more about what I look for in Lego set as an investment, make sure you check out this video right here because I think you will find this pretty useful.